Revealing area.
Spike planted.
No more.
One enemy remaining.
Oh yeah, boys. Are they on site? I'm going for the double shot here, boys.
Yeah.
Here it comes.
What the fuck?
This is how you win a round. Watch this. Calling a double kill.
I'm watching.
Oh, that was
Found
close.
them.
Look at that arrow, though. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
that's fucking crazy.
Dude.
How do you get away with this shit?
Cause I'm better than you, Kyle. Shut up.
One enemy remaining.
Oh, lots.
Last player standing.
Nice, real.
Hey guys, AverageJonas here and welcome to the Ultimate Retake Guide. Today I'm going to show you how to ideally retake each bomb site in the entire game by doing standard rotations through the CT spawn. Because a lot of you have asked when do I choose to do which recon and which shock dart, and I'm going to try to do it simply and show you site by site. So we're going to start with Ascent. And so Ascent is built in a way where there's usually someone holding Hell, and there's usually someone holding long, and they plant either on E-box or on dices. So when you're rotating through spawn, you have two options, and this depends on time. So if I'm late, if I'm the last person to rotate and my team is already on site, I would like to help them before I'm there, in which case I would shoot my recon from here, which is just to stand in this corner and then place my left diamond right in the middle of this rooftop like this and do a 2-bar. Because that way I'm assisting my team that is already on site to try to help them. If I'm either playing garden here or just that for some reason I am in a better position to retake faster, you have some other options. One option is to use the arrow that Sinatraa showed me, where you can just hit this camera here. By some practice, you just max charge it and jump and practice.
Revealing area.
And try to hit it there. That way you can spot pretty much everything here, and also this wall can be wall banged. If you also suspect that someone is holding under here, you can also do a double bounce full charge by lining up here with this box and just shoot like this.
Revealing area.
Because one thing that is really important to retake is to try to cover as few angles as possible. So if you know that the entire hell area is covered, then you can basically just focus on long and this entrance here. If you've already rotated and the bomb hasn't been planted yet and you know they're about to plant, you can get into this corner and do the double shock for E-box, which is the most standard plant in the current meta. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your second charge bar and put it right in the middle here, like that, the line, and do a 1-bar plus jumping. And then your second arrow, you're just going to pull down so the same charge bar line is right in this corner. So it's going to look like this. 1-bar jump
Shock dart.
and click.
Shock dart.
And this is going to land right on E-box here. And it lands like this, so it hits both sides of this corner. So, and this is a very typical spot to plant on, and also just for people to hide on even after the bomb is planted. So you can always use those ones regardless. If you're an A player and they're planting B, you can also do this arrow from here, which is also another alternative where your team is already there and you want to help them as soon as possible. You just want to make sure that you're in the right area of this alleyway and just pass this line. And then you're just going to aim for this very tip. Just make sure it doesn't hit this roof. So like this, and do a 1-bar.
Revealing area.
And that's just going to hit the back wall here in sight and reveal most of the site here. Really simple, and the thing is about a retake arrow, it needs to be fast. So this is one of those arrows you can basically do while you're running like this.
Revealing area.
There you go. Because it doesn't need to be that accurate. If you're already here, you can either just aim for this one, but usually this area is smoked off. So this is another arrow that Sinatraa showed me that he uses a lot, where you just place your crosshair. I'll show you here. So you see this line here. You just follow this line down here. Place your crosshair right there. And do a 1-bounce full charge.
Revealing area.
And that's going to hit right here. And reveal most of this area. And once again, if you're sure that they're mostly playing on site, you could do an arrow that is more like activating for wallbangs, and you can basically just aim for this
Revealing
tree.
area.
Because this tree is going to reveal most of sight as well, and you can wallbang through boathouse here. And the cool thing is that by hitting the back wall or the tree, you're once again kind of limiting the amount of angles they can hit you from. Because that's basically going to tell you that there has to be someone holding in here, instead of someone camping in one of these corners and surprising you. In terms of double shocks, I would definitely go for this one if you have time, where you go into this corner, and then you place your crosshair in the middle of this window, and do a 2-bar 1 bounce, followed by a full charge double bounce, where you aim right here, so you see this dot, you just follow the line out here. Or you can use your first charge bar line and just place it right under this dot if that helps you more. So it looks like this. 2-bar 1 bounce,
Shock dart.
double bounce full charge.
Shock dart.
There you go. If you're a B player and you're going to retake A on bind, then usually you'll have some information from your team if they're playing heavily from showers or heavily from A short, in which case you have two options. If they're playing showers, I would really just do, like, you don't even need a lineup, you just run through here and aim with a 1-bar somewhere in this
area.
direction, and it should be hitting the back wall like this, and that's perfectly fine to reveal what's going on in this area. If they're playing A short, which is currently very common, you can get in behind this barrel here, and then you'll place your second charge bar line right in the middle of this area here. Anywhere in that line is fine, and do a 1-bar.
Revealing area.
And this is actually going to give you a lot of information from all the typical spots. This is a really good arrow, like it sees here and sees most of these spots, so it's really nice with truck plant. If you want a shock dart truck plant, this is a really good shock dart, but it's kind of hard to line up. You get into this barrel corner here, and then first you're going to place the green bar of your drone icon right in the middle of this square here, like that, and do a 2-bar. And then afterwards you're gonna do a 1-bar plus a jump, where you place the dot of your UI bottom right HUD line right here. So you see this line here goes down here, so you're just gonna go in the middle there and place the dot right there. Do you see that bottom right? So you go from there and you just pull it down till you're right there in the middle and do a 1-bar plus jump. So it's gonna look like this: 2-bar,
Shock dart.
1-bar plus
Shock
jump.
dart.
There you go. This also depends on how far you've gotten, but if you're already up here in heaven, you can also shock dart quite easily on both default plants, either by doing a full charge and bouncing it off the back
Shock
wall
dart.
here, just aim for this thing here, or you can aim for the corner of this carpet box thing and do a 2-bar 1 bounce,
Shock dart.
and you can hit the other one. These areas are usually smoked off, so it could be important to try to just remember where these ones are. Or you could, for instance, do a shock dart first, or if you see on the map here, you can actually see this box.
Right
So it's
here.
actually possible to ping this box if you're smoked off, and then aim for it like this. If you're gonna retake B, which is something I do a lot because I'm always playing A heaven, the first thing I do is to do my double shock for default plant, because it's so common to plant here.
Right here.
And I do that by walking into this line here, and then I take the first line of my charge bar and place it right in that corner and do a 2-bar, and then I pull down and place the top right corner of my bottom left HUD line right there on the tip of that building like this, and do a 1-bar. So I'll show you. So 2-bar here
Shock dart.
and 1-bar there.
Shock dart.
And then afterwards, the recon retake for B is super easy. I just aim for the general direction of this billboard and just aim up in the sky and do a 1-bar, because that is really easy and it can land literally
Revealing area.
anywhere and be fine. That's perfectly fine, and you can see how much this sees of the site. If you already moved up here and it's not smoked, it's also possible to do shock darts for default and inside tube by aiming for these two cross sections here. So you have one there and one there. So you can do like this one bar, one
Revealing
bounce
area.
will go to default. And if you aim for the other one bar, one
Revealing
bounce,
area.
it goes inside. So you have both options. So my tactic for retaking A on Haven I think is really strong. It gives a lot of information and there's a very common plant spot that you can easily predict with double shocks, and this one has like given me so many kills. So for the double shock, you're gonna get into this corner here and just place your right diamond right on the corner of this intersection there and do a 1 bar. And then afterwards you're just gonna pull down like this and just aim, like pull this light bulb out here and just click. So 1 bar
Shock dart.
and click.
Shock dart.
And this is such a common plant spot. And then for the recon, this is one of my favorite recons in the whole game. You get into this corner here and you're gonna place your left diamond right under this corner here, just like there. So this one needs to be practiced a bit because it's kind of pixel perfect, but it's gonna look like this.
Revealing area.
And you see how it lands right under here, and it literally sees everything. This is basically a reversed version of the original God arrow for A. So when retaking B, you kind of have a reversible strategy depending on if you're retaking from A or from C. If you're retaking from A, you kind of want to reveal the front side of the bomb site, so just aiming anywhere in this top corner like this should be fine. This area is usually smoked off as well, which is why it is fine to just stand here and aim like this. And then if it's still smoked and you hear them planting, you would try to just aim almost as high as this edge is and just do tap shock darts with 1 bounce,
Shock dart.
because they're gonna bounce off the back wall and hit right on default plant. So that shock dart can do a lot of damage or kill someone. So I'm usually a C player, so my retake from C to B usually consists of getting a recon up in this corner, and once again
Revealing
this
area.
area is usually either smoked off or walled off. And then what I try to do is just using a double bounce off of this wall and hitting anywhere in this area around the default plant. So since it's smoked off, you can't really be that accurate usually, but it's basically trying to get a shock dart that goes something like
Revealing
this,
area.
and then landing somewhere here or even slightly lower so it lands closer to default plant. But bear in mind that if it's walled off, obviously you need to aim above the wall, but if it's smoked off, you can probably aim lower. Just get a sharp angle like this until maybe this one just disappears like that, and do 2 bar, 2 bounce and aim a bit
Revealing
lower.
area.
And then it's gonna land right here, which is gonna damage the planter quite a lot. When retaking C, the first thing I would do is just to get into this corner really quickly and do a 1 bounce full charge right here
Revealing
in the
area.
middle next to this window frame. It's gonna land right here and reveal most of sight. It sees some peekers in cubby, it sees a lot of garage, and the entire area around default plant. And then, especially if it's not planted yet, you can do the double shock from this spot, which is taking the green bar under your drone icon and putting it right on this corner here and do a 1 bounce, and then you're just gonna pull down until your bottom left HUD line hits this wooden panel right there and do a click. So it's gonna look like this. I'll show you with recon just so it's easier to see.
Revealing area. Revealing area.
So if it's not planted yet, this is gonna kill them, because usually they plant somewhere along this area, and I've gotten loads of kills with this one as well. So split is infamous for being tricky for Sova because of how hard it is to place the recons and the shock darts because of all the high walls and buildings everywhere, but there are still a few things you can do there. It's quite nice. So if you're rotating from B and you're going through spawn, then you can get into this wall here, and then you're gonna walk up until this light just aligns with this wall here, and then you're gonna look at this very top line here and just make sure that you're aiming to the middle or slightly to the left of the middle just to be certain, and do a 1 bounce full charge.
Revealing area.
So this recon is gonna land here and reveal most of sight except a certain angle behind the screen. And you can also shock dart both default plant and the screen from the same spot by getting in once again, do the same lineup where you just see the lamp here, but instead of aiming all the way up there, we're just gonna aim for the middle down here and do a shock dart there. Full charge.
Shock dart.
One bounce. It's gonna land right on default. And if you wanna hit behind the screen, this is all depending on how much info you have from your team. You can line up the same spot again, but you aim for this triangle. One bounce, full charge, and jump.
Shock dart.
There you go. If you're rotating through heaven, you can simply just aim for the bottom of this crown like this.
Revealing area.
And that should hit the tip of this one. And you see so much from this spot. I think retaking B is a lot stronger for Sova, and that's also another reason why I play A, because there is one spot that is so common to plant on, which is
right
behind this iron box. So I usually get into this corner to do my recon, because your recon needs to go above all this stuff. So you can just basically line up. It doesn't need to be that accurate. So usually when I do it, I just run like this and I crouch and just get around the corner and look at this line. And then I take my left diamond and place it right next to this thing here, the third one. Just do a 2-bar.
Revealing area.
And this one's gonna fly for a while. Just land backside here. It's not super crazy or anything, but it actually helps a lot and just tells you the most important information, which is there anyone in this corner, for instance? Or is there anyone behind this box? And then, one of my favorite double shocks is when you come down here, and if you know that they still haven't planted, again, this is based off information and timing, so you need to just work on this. You get into this corner, you aim for this leaf and do a 1-bar 1 bounce, and then afterwards you're just gonna move slightly to the right like this, and then you're gonna aim for this line and do a 2-bar 2 bounce. So 1-bar 1 bounce,
Shock dart.
2-bar 2 bounce.
Shock dart.
They both go right there on default. If you're rotating up to heaven, then there's a really simple shock dart that can be super deadly if you hear them planting. You basically just stand somewhere here and you just aim slightly to the left of this orange box like this, and you just do 2 really simple 1-bar 1 bounces,
Shock dart.
and you'll see these go straight to the default plant and guarantees 90 damage to the planter. So I hope this guide helped you out, guys. I think it's really important to see how powerful Sova actually can be in retakes, because there is so much information you can gain, and I think it's really important to know when to use your recon and when to save it, because you're expecting retake to come soon. So that was it for today. I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you on Twitch.